Colin Turkington, driving for Team BMW. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Last year had a really strong sort of first half of the season, but in that second half there was too many ups and downs. There was a few isolated weekends, Knockhill and I think Silverstone, that sort of really put a dent in my hopes for the title. And also we probably didn't have the pace in the car that, let's say, we have this year. So certainly feeling more confident that we can sustain the challenge a bit longer this year than last year. Well, yeah, I knew the effort that had gone in by West Surrey Racing and the potential gains that were there to be had, and it was important that we moved the 3 series on, because last year we were sort of just hanging on by our coattails at times. So as soon as I had the first few tests in the car for the season, I knew, okay, we've taken a significant step here, particularly with the Neil Brown power unit, and that was getting me excited. And we started the season strongly. Qualified really well at Donington Park. So yeah, I certainly feel this is our best chance in a few years. Yeah, it's sort of no championship year is ever the same. You're referring to the 2018 season where, again, with one series BMW, it was still a really competitive package, but we didn't have that ultimate pace. But it was a year of sort of just finishing second, third, fourth, fifth, one win, and that consistency brought the title. And many people have sort of remarked that this year will probably be something similar, just because of the bigger delta of the hybrid. How strong it is this year. The difference between having it and not having it makes it difficult to repeat 2 wins on the weekend, although we have saw many people do that this year, some under sort of freak circumstances. I don't think that's going to be a theme of the season. So of course consistency will always be key in any championship, and for me this season I think that's been the theme over the first half. There's probably been one standout weekend sort of either side of that. I've struggled a bit, maybe had a good race in there, but not had a great 3 races, but still scored points, when I've been struggling and suffering a bit. So, that's as you said, that's sort of kept me in strong contention. But I'm really hoping I can kick on the second half of the season. Yeah, I agree. I think it's the most exciting set of sort of rules and regulations we've had, certainly since I've been in the championship. With the new qualifying system, definitely it's tougher and more stressful. Saturday is a harder day than it's ever been, because you've only one opportunity to get it right, and you have to produce that lap time. You have to produce that standout lap time 3 times, and the pressure valve tightens a bit each session. So for sure Saturday is a more stressful day, and then bang, you're straight into Sunday. It feels like it comes at you quicker, because you don't get wrapped up until much later on a Saturday night. And having the sort of, I think on Sunday the biggest challenge is, yes, race 1 can be great, but then having to go to that next available hardest compound tyre is definitely a challenge. We've saw on some occasions where people have chosen to sort of take the harder compound race 1, but really can set you on the back foot for the day. So our strategy has been, and we've found has worked best for us, particularly for me at Brands, is to particularly when you're starting on pole position, put all the eggs in the basket to try and get a race win, and then see how the day unfolds after that. So for sure on a Sunday and any given race weekend, there's so many more things to consider, and a lot more factors outside of your control. So it's I think you put your best foot forward, but you also need a bit of luck, for it to pan out for you. Yeah, you can go into a race with a plan. Say you've 2-3 laps of hybrid, but you can straight away find yourself under pressure. lap 2, and you need to use a lap. Ideally you wanted to save for the end, but sometimes it's just as important to use the hybrid to defend as it is to go forward. You know, a lot of the sort of moving and shaking in any of our races is done quite early on. You know, you can go up a few or down a few in those early laps, so it's quite an important time to be thinking about using your hybrid. But also you're more than likely going to want a few laps, you know, for the end of the race. And you know, when it comes to qualifying, you just got to make the most of what you have. You know, it definitely going into races, going into qualifying sessions with only sort of 3-5 laps of hybrid, that's when it gets really difficult, because your deployment speed is high as well. When you can't deploy just that extra 5 kilometers, you know, 135 kilometers, it feels like you're so far down the straight before you can get on the button, and then you've only got a matter of seconds and the fun's over. So you know, I find myself finishing race weekends and seeing that I'm P2, P3 in the championship, and I'm like, oh, I'd rather be P4. Yeah. So I think being P4 in the championship and close in the points is probably the optimum place to be, in my opinion, because you've got that 7 seconds of hybrid. You can deploy a fraction earlier, and that can just make your whole weekend so much easier. So yeah, I want to be leaving on the second half of the season, each race weekend, P4 would be ideal. Nobody's prepared to hand away any points in race 3, no matter what position you're running in. It takes a brave man to say, okay, I'm going to drop back a few positions, give those points away to somebody else, just so that I'm in a better position, you know, for 2 weeks' time. You know, you really got to be confident and put your neck in the line to do that. So, you know, we've saw in the past this championships, it's only ever won by a few points, so you have to fight for them all. Each point is crucial. So, but you know, we're going into new territory. You know, once we go into this second half of the season, it's new territory for us. So, yeah, we're going to need to be on our toes. Yeah, it wasn't relevant before. But now it's super relevant to know that, you know, the person in front or behind has either the same amount of laps of hybrid as you, or ideally they've less. You know, that's what you want to hear. You know, the guy in front has only 1 lap of hybrid and you have 3 left. You know, that's music to your ears. And you know, also we're getting sort of live feedback that you know, people in and around you, you know, that they're deploying this lap. You know, because that's really important to know as well, that okay, I might need to defend against whoever's attacking behind me. So for sure there's a lot to process over the course of a race. You know, also you're trying to drive your car as quickly as possible, you know, not make any mistakes, and you know, be as efficient as you can through the race. So yeah, definitely tired on a Sunday night. Yeah, the new breed is fast. It's you know, every championship year, every era of BTCC, you know, is super competitive. I think at the moment, with the regulations, there's a lot of strength and depth. You know, probably never before could, you know, anybody in the, let's say, top 10, 12, maybe even 15 win a race. So that's what makes it really tough, and that's what makes it hard to consistently qualify well, score well over the 3 weekends. But I think the level in BTCC at the moment is super high. You know, you mentioned, you know, Tom and Jake and Ash, you know, the top 3 in the championship at the moment. You know, I think there's nothing between anybody, and I think it's who can maintain that level for the 30 races. You know, for the, let's say, the 7 or 8 months, who can sustain that and not drop the ball. And you know, again, it's not just that sort of 3 or 4 top drivers. There's, you know, you can expand that sort of band quite easily, and you know, there's other guys that can easily, you know, the Dan Camishes, the Josh Cooks, you know, can easily get themselves straight into championship contention with, you know, with a really strong weekend. So yeah, there's a lot of racing to be done, but yeah, it's super hard for anybody to, you know, to rise above the rest of the pack at the moment. You know, the regulations make it super tough this year with being the championship leader, going into the next event with 1 second of hybrid, it's incredibly tough. I think at the moment we're firmly in the mix. At the moment I feel there's, for me to firmly go into Brands with a super strong chance of winning, there's another level we need to hit. There's another level I need to hit consistently with the car, and that's going to be crucial the second half of the season. It's going to need to be banging the points in every weekend, and the first half of the season, when the car's been right for me, the package has been ballistic, but there's been too many occasions where I haven't managed to get the car where I need it on a Saturday, which has then helped me a bit back on a Sunday. So there's another level I need to get to with the car to be as confident as I would like to be, that I'm going to be firmly in the mix. Yeah, so there's work to do, and there's a little bit of speed to find, but I think we know where it is.